Hey, I'm Risky, and this is Kunai. Kunai is an indie Metroidvania that came out earlier this year. I love it. It has a lot of really small polish that makes me appreciate it, like the facial expressions of the main character, and little things like that that are just great. Main character is named Tabby. You're a tablet ninja that's trying to save the world. That's like the TLDR of the plot. And here we pick up the katana. This is going to be our main damage source throughout the run. Well, actually our only damage source. And early on we're going to be using it to pogo stuff, destroy boxes or whatever. And we're going to kill a few of these little guys along our way just to try and get some extra money, because we need a certain amount of money for the route before we get to the place where we need it, obviously. And yeah, it's useful for pogos like that, and a lot of the early game is just optimizing small movement, like going through this room smoothly without slowing down, getting this pogo right here, slowing down on this platform, and that kind of thing. All the enemies early game just die in one hit, but that is not the case later on. And we're on our way to the first movement upgrade, which is the most important upgrade in the game, I would say, and is the fastest way to travel everywhere. It's so fun. Oh, it's so fun. But alright, we're in Haunted Factory now, and we get a little jump into this cutscene, just get a little extra distance. We're gonna go here and destroy these boxes, and a good benchmark to know you're going fast is that those boxes respawn after 20 seconds, I believe. So if you get back to that room before they respawn, you're going fast. So here we get our first Kunai, which again is the main movement option. And as you can see, we're already moving a lot faster than we were before. We get a left one and a right one. And they're just so fun to use. And we made it back before the boxes respawn, so we're going pretty quick. Go up here, and there are some advanced text with the kunai. I'll try and point them out when we do them. So right there we did one of them. It's called a reverse boost, and it's when you are swinging like from below the ceiling and you go out to the side and you do a kunai in the opposite direction, you get a big vertical boost. I'll be doing them later on in the run too, and I'll point them out. This is the first boss. This is Garbage Collector. He's pretty simple in the speedrun. You just go up here and then he's invincible until he gets to this certain spot, and you just hit the boss out of it as soon as possible by spamming pogos, and you never actually see it do any of its attacks. And then spawns adds one more time, it'll be 5. It doesn't really matter how fast you kill these, you have like a few seconds of leeway before the boss actually moves to the corner again. Here we spam pogo because it gets rid of this white animation that was covering the screen, which gives us more time to react to where the money drops, because it's kind of random off enemies. Off chests, if you are on one side of the chest, the money will fly out to the other direction, so you can control it a lot better. And again, we're collecting money because we need money. So that was an attempted reverse boost there, but that I did not get a good boost off of. And the movement to forest is just trying to be smooth. It's kind of sloppy there. And we're going to swing into this hidden room over here. And like I said, we open the chest from the right hand side, so the money flies to the left. And here's Earl. We don't actually talk to Earl, we just skip his cutscene, but right there is a router, and that's going to be relevant very, very soon. At the router you can buy upgrades. So we're going to save here. Not for the health, even though it refills our health, but because we can save quit back after. We got this chest, and we're going to do this pogo, which is nearly frame perfect. It's very difficult, even though it looks really simple. And these vines here that are in our way, they stop your speed unless you're swinging your kunai through them. and they also allow you to jump off of them. So we'll be doing combinations of those things, like swinging through them there, or using them to jump later on. We hit the switch, open the door. A couple nice pogos, and then again here we swing through the vines. And honestly, we're going to be out of the forest really quickly here. We're only here to get the money. And once we have 299, which that chest gives us 130, we can leave. And then we save quit back to our save point, and now the run is going to get a little bit crazy. We're going to buy an upgrade called Charge Blade at the router over here. And we're going to do a bunch of CB clips, no relation to me. But boy, did I feel like this game is perfect for me after running it. And now that we have Charge Blade, the way it works is you charge it up, and obviously, but right here you see we just clip right through the floor. It measures a distance from you to the target, and then it puts you that far behind the target. So what we do is we find these spacing setups so that when we slash what we're targeting, it teleports us to the other side, but slightly in the wall. And it makes us clip and fall down through the floor. And right here, we just hit an area transition while we're out of bounds that we're not supposed to be able to get to yet. And we're in the abandoned subnet now, which is something we're not supposed to be in for a while. We do a specific setup there to lure this bat over, and now we're clipping again. And we're gonna walk and hit another area transition that we would have needed yet another upgrade to get to. And now we're in Robopolis. And this is a somewhat endgame area here that we're supposed to have. Mainly, we're supposed to have a double jump right now that we don't have. Here's a reverse boost coming up. Right there, you see it boosted us up very quickly. And we're just going to be moving through here as fast as we can using our Kunai. And coming up, it's another glitch that we're going to use once. This is called a hover for pretty self-explanatory reasons. The way it works is we slide down the wall and we start charging our charge blade, and it allows us to keep the wall cling fall speed that we had. So we're just sliding down the wall slowly. We then just descend in the air very slowly in the same way. And here we get captured. You see our little mugshot there. And they take away all of our stuff. We don't have Kunai anymore. But we talk to this dude in the toilet, and he gives us a dash, which is very useful. The dash is super fast movement. It's technically slower than perfectly done Kunai, but it's way more consistent to dash, so we just dash a lot. And we have to use these plants to actually get out of this area, because we're supposed to have a double jump. And those plants are just perfectly positioned for us. It's like the route wouldn't work at all without those plants. So now we get to this chest, and we have all of our stuff back. Not only do we have all of our stuff back, we also have shurikens now, which the game is programmed to give you shurikens out of that chest, even though you're not supposed to get them here. And we'll be using those in a bit. But we're escaping from jail right now, and as soon as we get out of this area, there's going to be cops everywhere looking for us. Tabby is on the run, and you will see, like, we're going to be going through this area that we already went through, and you can tell it's like rainy and gloomy now, and there are a bunch of enemies that were not there before. Like, we already swung up through here, and these next rooms coming up, you can see, like, there's this flying guy that wasn't here before, this dude with the shield, etc. And now we're going to be doing a different trick to get across this gap. We hovered last time, but right here we're doing shuriken pogos, which are awesome. You can throw the shuriken and then slash them with your sword to pogo off them, which, like many other movement techs in this game, is just really satisfying to use. And here we're going to do it to actually go up and over the ceiling and into this boss fight without triggering the boss yet. And and we're dashing to the left a bunch and pogoing up. As soon as we fall a certain amount, we're going to trigger the boss fight, and we messed up our shuriken pogos, so we triggered it there. And normally there's a boss that's like this mech dude that's walking after you and shooting cannonballs, and it locks the camera on him and makes it an auto-scroller. But because we clipped into the fight, it's no longer an auto-scroller, and we can basically go at our own pace here. It makes it a lot faster. We're already at the end of it. So next area, this is SSD Flotanic. There's not much to say here except that the ceilings are metal, and it means you cannot use your kunai in them, so we have to dash everywhere. If you throw the kunai, you just clink off the metal. There are fans that we want to dash through, that just gives us an updraft. And now we are going to do another clip, and this skips pretty much this whole area. Dash over, and then we clip in, and we pause and we jump a bunch because it makes it a lot easier. And we grab the airbase core, which is why we're here to begin with. And this causes the ship to crash land into the desert. And now we are going to work our way back to the haunted factory that we were in earlier. And to the end of the game, basically. This is where the double jump that we were supposed to get a long time ago. And we need the shurikens that we got out of that chest earlier to open those doors. It's that door, and then there's another one later on. And this whole section is just trying to be as clean with your movement as possible. You can see I was struggling a little bit there, but that was mostly good. And this place might look familiar. We're now back at the haunted factory. This time we have shuriken though, as well as dash. That's another thing that's required to finish the game. And this is the door we opened. That crusher right there has like a 1% chance to fall a second early on its cycle and just end your run for no reason. Nobody understands why it happens. We're gonna go here, and we're going to use this enemy to do something that probably will look familiar at this point. Push him off, shuriken, and boom. We're in a place we're not supposed to be. Since we have the air core, we can activate this big mech which flies us to Mars. And now we are not on Earth anymore. We talk to this router, and we use one of these upgrades. It's super glitchy looking, and not normal. What's gonna happen? Alright, talk to the nice lady here, and then we jump over and skip her next dialogue, because we don't want to talk to her that much. And you find out she's actually not that nice of a lady. And we're going to set up the final skip of the game. So now we're just going to dash a whole bunch to the left, while also trying to maintain a certain amount of height. And then we're going to throw our kunai till we hear a metal clink. There it is. And that means we're in the right spot. And we can just float right into the final boss cutscene. And boom, now the final boss triggers. And we're still out of bounds, so we can't actually fight the boss, but if we save quit, we will be in the boss fight. And this is like a 6 or 7 minute time save. We skip a huge gauntlet that is just miserable in this category since we don't have any sub-weapons. Anyway, the way this boss works is it has 3 attacks, and each time it does one of the attacks, there's a damage threshold that you can hit, and then it will do the next attack. So it doesn't really matter how much damage you do as long as you do enough for each phase. So like right here, you do a certain amount, and then just going to do this swipe attack and go to the next phase. Now we're kind of messed up, so we're just going to wait, go up here, make sure we do enough, and then just dodge the attack. It doesn't matter if we hit the boss more right now, until the boss turns around to do the next attack. So here, for the swoop attacks later on, it's just better to damage tank them. Now it's kind of spooky because if we get hit one more time, we're dead. The boss doesn't have a hitbox behind him. That's why we do these pogos and double jumps to get behind. And now we did enough damage. It's going to throw the scythe, and we actually pick it up off the ground. And this is the final phase of the boss. Shoots a bunch of lava up at us. And just like the phases before, it doesn't matter how much extra damage we deal. And we also have a little bit of time there when the boss comes out of the ground. Hitting it right away doesn't actually matter. The boss won't go back underground until it does that laser animation. The lava gets faster, and there's more lava each time you send the boss into the ground again. We are counting. And there's going to be 20 this time. Go up, slice the boss some more. And that's Kunai 80%. We skipped a whole lot of the game in this category. And the category itself is pretty short, and it's really tight movement-wise. I don't know if a 15 is possible. I definitely didn't have a perfect run, but my sum of best is only like a 16-10. So I'm sure I'll be grinding that soon. I hope you enjoyed it.